Today on Across the Fence, get a bird's eye view of life in Vermont and make tweeting fun again. It's time for Bird Notes with Mark LaBarr from Audubon, Vermont. Hello, Vermont. Well, March is right around the corner, but spring still feels a long way off. I don't know about you, but this is the time of year when a flash of color on the bird feeder makes me extra happy. A little nature to remind me that the world is stirring, and soon enough, warm days will be back. And Mark, speaking of warm days, is here today to talk all about those delightful winter birds. Mark, hello and welcome back. I think I just called you a warm day.
That's all right. That's all right. I like warm days.
Yeah, I'm in anticipation. I am wearing bright colors and flowers.
It's been a long winter, and here in Vermont, things get quiet in the bird world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, folks have their feeders out, and I spend plenty of time sitting there watching my chickadees come to and fro, and so on and so forth. But you know, it can get a little quiet for any number of birds. A lot of the migrants have left, so people go out searching for the rare ones this time of year.
Well, that makes it fun. So it's kind of like a hunt.
Yeah, and some
a challenge.
And some years are better than others. We'll have years where we get a bunch of what are called eruptive species.
Okay.
Now, these are species that erupt into Vermont, come down from up north, and we can see large numbers of them, small numbers of them, or none at all.
And what brings them here?
Food supply a lot, or lack of a food supply can often drive them down here.
Looking for food.
Yeah, so they're looking for food and moving around, and they show up, and sometimes in numbers, and it creates some buzz in the bird community.
Yeah, all right. Well, we've got some great images of some birds then I guess that could show up, right? Some that you could be finding right about now.
These first couple I haven't heard too many reports of, which is the common redpoll.
Okay.
Common redpoll, poll meaning head, and red head, is a bird that people will often see at their feeders.
Okay.
And they'll show up in numbers at their feeders. So this is one you don't necessarily have to go hunt for. If they're here, you'll see them. Their cousin, which at the feeder and in the field can be very difficult to separate from this common redpoll, is called the hoary redpoll. And you can see the hoary redpoll looks very similar. Doesn't maybe have as much red, a little more streaking or a little less streaking. And because there's variation in plumage across these species, when they're, unless they're like right next to each other and you've got a really good eye for redpolls, they can be difficult to differentiate between.
So you get points if you just found a redpoll.
Redpolls are good. Redpolls are, when we've got them at the Audubon, we have our feeder station out, and you'll just have years where they're there. They're feeding right alongside the goldfinches and everybody else and their regular visitors.
How about this next cute guy? This is an evening grosbeak? Grosbeak.
Grosbeak.
Okay.
So gets its name from that big bill. Now, evening grosbeaks are interesting because their populations have been declining here in the east. And they will be seen around in different parts of the year in Vermont, but sometimes they can be very specific. So at the Audubon where we are, we might not get evening grosbeaks, but just up the road at the Bird of Vermont Museum, they will. These birds travel in flocks, as do most of the winter birds. So there have been some good sightings of evening grosbeaks around, which is always exciting to see them. And it's, it's a goldfinch on steroids, basically. It's a big, huge bird, hard to miss.
Goldfinch on steroids. That's my new tattoo.
And oftentimes with ash years, when there's a good ash seed crop, they'll come in and feed on those seeds.
And so these birds you said are ones you might find on your feeder, and then there's birds that you were at. So I'm trying to get out into the woods more right now this time of year. I'm doing some shoe skiing. I've taken that up. I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting there. So these are birds we might see more in the woods. Yeah, so it's interesting because food is often a reason these birds are coming down. That last picture there of a pine grosbeak, so this bird is a fruit eater. And many birds that are here. So oftentimes, like I go to the Audubon and it's quiet in our woods, right? But if you get into, some of the urban, suburban areas where there's a lot of planted ornamental trees that bear fruit, oftentimes sometimes that's the best birding.
because these birds are coming in and that fruit is available for them and you can see them in flocks.
Okay, so actually, so not necessarily that one, the grosbeak, that common grosbeak, not common grosbeak, was it a pine grosbeak? Right.
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking for that maybe where there's like a berry source, a
Yeah,
fruit source.
you know, sometimes they can be seen. I remember doing the Burlington Christmas bird count, and you go to these industrial parks where they have all these ornamentals planted, and you'd find them right there.
Great,
So
okay.
they're coming to where the
This
food
is
is.
making me think now about what I'm going to put in my yard next year. Okay, then how about this red crossbill?
So this
They have
is a bird
really
that,
cool bill. Oh,
yeah, this is a bird. These next two birds are pretty unique species because these are birds that you will find in the woods, and they are focused on cones. They get their name. If you look closely enough, that bill is literally crossed.
Huh.
So
oh,
that
yes, okay, they're overlapping.
They
Right.
overlap.
Okay, so they need orthodontia.
Well, this,
I'm just kidding.
yes, this actually works well for them because they use that bill to open cones and get at the seeds inside. So by closing their mouth, that bill narrows, opens up the cone, and they can access the seed.
That's a crazy adaptation.
Yes, so these birds are birds that we often see in high cone years when our coniferous trees are producing lots of cones and lots of seeds, and so we'll see the crossbills come down. This one is the red crossbill.
And then we also
the
have
other one
white
is
wing.
the white-winged crossbill, and that gives you a little bit better shot of that bill. You can see that upper bill kind of crossing over the lower mandible.
And white-winged, obviously, because it's got those white markings.
Because it's got the white markings on it. So, yeah, these are, you know, fun birds if you can find them. Again, many birds are flocking this time of year. If there's a food source, they're together, plus safety in numbers, right?
Yep.
So
I love watching the flocks.
Yeah, so, you know, just keep an eye out. What may look like a purple finch or something like that could be a crossbill.
Cool. All right. And so if you're thinking about taking any excursions, you want to go looking for some birds, what kinds of locations might we go to and what might we see?
So some of the, you know, some of the winter birds that are seen pretty regularly, that if you go out into the Champlain Valley proper, big open hayfields and stuff like that, road edges oftentimes along those hayfields, you'll see birds like snow buntings.
Okay.
So this is a bird that, again, breeds up north, comes to Vermont pretty regularly. Snow buntings are usually seen every year. And if you're driving through Addison County, you'll see a flock of whitish birds that'll lift off and move off. Oftentimes those are snow buntings that are taking advantage of those open areas.
So beautiful.
Another one tucked in there, which you might see, is what's called the horned lark. And it gets its name from those little,
it's
you know,
kind of got like little devil horns.
Yeah, those are feathers. And this again is another bird that shows up in mixed flocks with buntings and other things that you can see out in the, you know, the open fields of the Champlain Valley.
So great. Okay, so owls.
So
we have
owls,
any owls this time
yes,
of year?
owls are always great, and you know we have some that are more regular than others. For instance, and I say regular because in any given year you can have a really good year. A number of years ago, we had a great snowy owl year where snowy owls were being seen all over. Particularly in open areas. Again, Champlain Valley. It's similar to their Arctic habitats that they nest in. And so you can have a big year.
Feels like an Arctic habitat this time of year.
Yeah, and they have been seen in Vermont. We talked about the island's winter bird count last month, and they picked one up there. But it hasn't been seen in numbers like they can really get up to.
So this would be an exciting sighting if you were to see it.
Yeah. If you're going to see, you know, when they're out there in big years, you know, you can drive down to Dead Creek and, you know, they're easy to see oftentimes, or they're in locations. But this year they're a little bit more spotty.
A little more spotty. Okay, how about this great gray owl?
So now we enter the world of birds, owls that show up that are very unique and rare, that we really don't see here in Vermont, but they do pop in every once in a while. The great gray owl, big owl.
Yeah.
And this is one that I can't remember the last time it was seen, but you know, anytime a bird like this shows up in the winter, it gets the birding community very excited.
The word goes out.
The word goes out either through Facebook or the listserv or just word of mouth. You know, birders know each other.
Social media, yes, exactly.
Social media, and so a bird like that will often attract a lot of attention. bringing birders out in order to see
How about
it.
this next guy, the northern hawk owl? Is
Yeah,
that one?
so this is another one, same thing. I don't think we've seen a hawk owl in a number of years, but there was one that showed up on Route 100 as you're heading into, I think it's into Waitsfield, or past Waitsfield. You're heading up towards Stowe, and right up where the Green Mountain Club has their their offices, and there was a northern hawk owl sitting out there where people could pull up, get their scopes out, see the bird across the field.
I mean, how polite of that owl to pick such a great location.
It is, and the interesting thing is not only does it excite the birding community here in Vermont, but many of these birds excite those further south in New England and New York.
Yeah.
So you will get folks that want to add this bird to the list, to their list, or see it, travel some great distances in order to come up and just be able to say,
we are all looking for things to do at this time, this point of the middle of winter. All right, so what about out at the lake? I mean, it's been a pretty icy year out on the lake.
And that can throw things off a little bit. Ice cover not only concentrates birds further out, so it's difficult to see them,
right?
But it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And so one of waterfowl that we often see in the wintertime, oftentimes in large flocks, are the scops. This is a lesser scop. If I showed you a picture of the greater scop, it would look very similar to this. There are some minor details which tell the two birds apart, but oftentimes these birds will come down and raft and feed on Lake Champlain in the hundreds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, large flocks of these
flocks.
birds that will hang out here. It hasn't been, from what I've heard, but I could be wrong, a great year for some of these flocks, and of course we're in February now, so some of the first migrants that are going to be moving through in March and stuff like that as the ice retreats are going to be different waterfowl that start moving down the lake and moving up the lake as well. Scop are another one that if you're, or eagles would be another one that you can see depending.
So basically, keep your eyes open. Don't sleep on birds at this time of year. There's still plenty out there for us to take a look at. Okay, well, hang on, I've got to move it on.
Yeah.
But remember, folks, as you're out there looking around, Mark loves bird questions and prides himself on being able to provide an answer with or without an image. However, send an image. It's not going to hurt. His contact info is right there on the screen. I can't wait to see what we're going to be talking about in March.
Yeah, well,
it's going to be good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's
hopefully
the thing about
warm weather.
A thing about birds. You never know.
Never know. As always, Vermont, thank you for learning and exploring with me and Mark today. And thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.